Been looking forward to Moonrise Kingdom for quite a while. I am a fan of Wes Anderson. This is the guy who directed the Royal Tenenbaums, The Life Aquatic, the Darjeeling Limited, the last one being my favourite of his movies. This film basically follows the characters of Sam and Susie, played by Jared Gilman and Cara Haywood respectively, who in the 1960s and set on the island of New Penzance run away together after falling in love. It also has a supporting cast including Frances McDormand, Bruce Willis, Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, a great cast all around. Now, this film going in, I kind of started, I was looking forward to it, but I kind of started having Wes Anderson fatigue. I thought I'd really like to see him do something a little bit different. He has essentially made the same film several times now. Deals with very similar subject matter every time, and I wanted to see something a little bit different. Now, while this is unmistakably a Wes Anderson movie, it does deal with all the same sort of themes of family alienation and things like this. Stylistically, it's absolutely wonderful. Now, as I say, going in I wanted something different, but what I got was probably the most Wes Anderson-like movie that he's ever made. And for that reason, I absolutely adored this film. So the reasons I loved it, one, the kids, Jared Gilman and Cara Haywood, are absolutely brilliant in this movie, both of them playing Sam and Susie. Both kids are absolutely fantastic in this movie, considering they are newcomers, and I found their romance to be very touching and very quite genuine. It really did carry the movie for me. I found every moment they were on screen together to be very engrossing. Another reason I loved this movie is the supporting cast. You have Bill Murray being hilarious by doing not very much, but doing it very well. Bill Murray I found to be brilliant in this film, and his character is married to Frances McDormand. Their relationship is somewhat on the ropes. The chemistry that they have is hilarious, and what I like about Wes Anderson, and he's always done this in his movies, is that he doesn't go for the obvious jokes. He doesn't have Renee Zellweger falling over like a lot of sort of family rom-coms seem to have. He lets situations that are ridiculous to a certain extent to begin with play out naturally, and the humour comes from those situations. It doesn't need to be forced. So I found that the humour in this, just like in his other movies, does feel very organic. So Bill Murray and Frances McDormand are brilliant in it. I also really like Bruce Willis, who plays the sheriff, who basically takes, I guess you could consider this a minor spoiler, but takes Sam under his wing once social services come to take him away from the island. And it's this cast, it's a combination of the cast and the direction. Visually it's stunning, it's very whimsical in tone and theme, that really come together to make this a fantastic movie. Is it perfect? No, it's not. If anything, I mean, it's a modest length. I think it's about an hour and 40 minutes long. It could probably do with a few extra scenes to flesh out more character dynamics. There's a certain dynamic between Frances McDormand and Bruce Willis's characters that's never really explored, and there's a couple of plot strands that feel like they're hinted at but never really followed through. It may have benefited and really helped flesh out those characters if those plot strands had been focused on a little bit more in a couple of extra scenes. Other than this, it's hard to fault. It's one of those films that it's really hard to find fault with. The score is brilliant. Wes Anderson takes a very kind of Paul Thomas Anderson approach in that the score is ever present throughout the film. He only stops the score and lets the film go silent when it's needed, when he wants an emotional punch in the movie to really help the scene. Rather than play music over the or under the emotional scenes, he lets it go silent, and that's the only time in the movie when it will. And I thought this was very effective. It's a very similar approach that Christopher Nolan took to The Dark Knight, believe it or not. Two very different movies, but quite similar in how they use the scores. So I really like that aspect of it, and I honestly really can't think of any faults. Moonrise Kingdom, so far, at this moment, it's June, is probably my favourite film of the year so far. I absolutely loved it. I loved every minute. It had me laughing out loud. It has a great supporting cast. Edward Norton is in this as a clueless scout leader. He is quite hilarious in it as well. I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend Moonrise Kingdom, not only to fans of Wes Anderson, but to people who either haven't seen a Wes Anderson movie or don't really like his style, because there is enough here, I think, that if out of any of his movies, this is the movie that will convert you to a Wes Anderson fan. So I would highly recommend Moonrise Kingdom to just about everyone.